Hello, my name is Ashlee Hatfield, and I am so excited to share my project with you. All right, so first I'll talk a little bit about what my project even was. Let me zoom out a little bit so you can read that. I hosted a clothing drive, and I was like, oh, this is just in time for spring cleaning. I want people to give me their extra clothes so I could give them to people I knew in need. And I kind of got this idea because I have a friend, actually, it's my mom's friend, who is a teacher, and she's like, I have never seen so much of a need in schools for kids to have coats and other clothes. And it's crazy because I live in an area that is stricken by poverty, but is a generally pretty high income place. So when I was thinking about this, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is kind of like a hidden issue that maybe not a lot of people know about because they just assume, oh, everything's fine. So I ended up contacting local women's shelters, teachers, religious leaders, and asked if they knew anybody who needed anything or if their institution needed anything. It ended up being about 5 or 6 different places, I think. And I ended up obtaining about 400 pounds of clothes. 400 pounds. It was crazy. All right, so now I'll talk a little bit about the relevance in my community. I've already talked a little bit about it, but my whole idea started with this local teacher saying that there was such a need and she saw kids without coats and she saw kids wearing the same clothes every single day. And I was like, well, I can do something about that. And she actually helped me a little bit spread the word within schools about a clothing drive. So I thought that was really cool. Um, they just don't have access to the clothing necessities. I am from a community that can struggle with poverty in some areas, so I knew that there was something I could do to help. And when I started getting more clothes than I thought I would, I started calling around, and even in even wider radius, so within 30 miles of my town. And I learned about a lot of different individuals who were in need, and I learned about a lot of really cool institutions and organizations that could help me kind of divvy out all these clothes and figure out what to do with my 400 pounds of clothes that I got. All right, so my first step in the process was just spreading the word. I made posters and posted them on social media, as well as in person in churches, libraries, a local grocery store. I even think that teacher I was telling you about, she posted it in the school, so I thought that was really cool. And I told my friends to tell their friends. I wanted to keep it somewhat local though because I have a picture of the flyer. I blurred out my address and stuff, but my address was on there, and because it was just kind of like drop it off on the porch situation. So I didn't want to get too far out because I didn't want random people coming to calling me on the phone and coming to my house. So I try to keep it somewhat local. It was within 30 miles, which is still a huge radius, but it's okay. Okay, collect the clothes. I ended up keeping all of the clothes that I received at my parents' house because I got too many for my little apartment. It was insane. So I received more clothes than I thought I would. And then I sorted them and inspected them for cleanliness and for damage. So I gave away, I threw away the clothes that were not usable, like if they had like a really big tear or if they had a huge stain and they just didn't look good. Like I wanted these people who I was giving the clothes to feel special and to feel important and not to feel like they were getting these gross, nasty clothes that nobody wanted anymore. Like I wanted them to be high quality and nice. So that took so long. I think I talked about that, but that was the longest part is because I sorted it into gender and then I sorted it like, oh, this is business, like these are business clothes that you could wear to like a business job, and these are activewear clothes and like the different shoes and the different sizes. So I ended up sorting a lot of different types of clothes, and it took me so long to inspect them, sort them, lay them out. But it was something that had to be done because, for example, if I'm giving the clothes to a women's shelter who needs business casual clothes for work, then I can't be giving them men's gym shorts. Like that wouldn't make any sense. So I had to organize them. Plus, I just felt better about it, knowing what we had and inventorying what we had. All right, and then I donated the clothes according to need. I sorted the clothing and gave it to different people who needed it. And after that, after like my very local need, I still had 300 pounds of clothes. So I was only able to give away 100 pounds of clothes to like in my local area, like individual people. So maybe a religious leader told me so-and-so would like a shirt, pants, and activewear and whatever else I have for somebody of that gender and that size. So I did that in my local like 10-mile radius. And then I was like, okay, well, that was only 100 pounds of clothes. So I still had 300 pounds of clothing left. And so, yeah, and this is after like the women's shelters and the local like different local areas, like, which is still awesome. Like 100 pounds of clothes is actually a lot of clothes, but I still had 300 pounds of clothes left. So I was like, well, I'm going to have to add on to my project a little bit because I still have 300 pounds of clothes left. What could I do? So I ended up calling Tabitha's Way, and it's really cool because I didn't know that they did this, but they'll take extra clothes or like extra items, and they'll actually sell them, and then they'll use the money to buy food for local people in need. So it's like they're and they had like this food bank that I went and visited, and it was so cool. Like, it was so inspiring to see all these people going in and being able to, they came in with their families and they're able to go get food for their families. And it was a really cool experience to go in there and see what was going on. And I knew that this was the right move to, with the sheer amount of clothes, because I didn't want to just like donate it to the DI or something like that, because I wanted the extra clothes to go to a place where I knew that it would help, particularly the people in need, the local people in need. And I talked with the director, and she said, yeah, if you donate the clothes, we sell them, and it will directly help the people in need. And I was able to talk with some of the people at the food bank, and I felt like it was the right thing, and I felt like what they were doing was really, really amazing. So that's what happened with the rest of my 300 pounds of clothes. How does this have the potential to help others feel seen? I love this question. So while I was talking with the local people in need, they said that they felt dehumanized. People saw them as victims, poor, dirty, incapable addicts, etc. They said that they felt like they were just being seen as a label and not actually a human being, and that their humanity came second. And I thought that was really interesting because I think it is easy to label people as maybe something that isn't a human first. And so it was really interesting to talk with them and get their perspective, and to just to talk, talk to them and treat them like a human being and let them choose what clothes they wanted. Because it helped them feel like a person, and it helped them to be seen and to be heard. And even just listening to their stories, I was astounded by these people. Like, some used to be veterans, some just had came up on hard times in life, some are disabled, and it was so hard, but such a good lesson to understand that these people come from all different backgrounds, but a lot of times they're trying their best, and this is where their best led them, and so they just need a little bit of extra help. My project gave people the option to choose what they wanted. I received all types of clothing, from women's workwear to men's athletic clothes. I even got clothes from different lost and founds from preschools. So that was something really cool, is I was able to contact preschools and be like, hey, because usually schools have lost and founds, and I thought it was a good way to target people, like younger age people, because I got a lot of adult stuff, but I didn't get a lot of kids and baby stuff. So collaborating with preschools was a really cool way to get the clothes for the younger kids without taking away from somebody in need, if that makes sense, or like making a busy mom go and donate their kids extra clothes. It was just an easy way to be like, yeah, I'll take your lost and found from you. And a lot of preschools didn't want the lost and found anymore, but they felt bad throwing the clothes away. So it was a win-win. Giving them clothes and helping the people get the clothes that they wanted, I needed to help them feel seen. So I was really big on I want to give them the choice. I want to give them the option. I have all these different types of clothes. If they're looking for a particular type of clothes, I'll give them 5 options, or all the options that I have, right? Because I want it to feel like shopping, and I want it to feel like something that's enjoyable, because at least for me, I love shopping and I love trying to find something to express myself, and I wanted to give that opportunity back to people. All right, so what went well? The support I got from the public was incredible. I got so many people bringing huge lawn bags full of clothes, and they were in great condition, and a lot of them, I would say 95% of the clothes were in excellent condition, and they were really just giving them away to help other people, just clothes they didn't wear anymore. And these people put in the work. A lot of people donated so much of it, which I thought was incredible. And I ended up getting way more clothes than I ever could imagine. I was thinking, there's no way I'm going to hit 100 pounds of clothes. That's so much. And then when I ended up getting 400, I was like, are you kidding me? So just the support and the participation from the public was something that I didn't even imagine that I would have. And I think since spring is upon us and finally it's warming up a little bit, I think people were willing to do that too, because they're like, well, I have to get my spring cleaning done anyway. So I think the timing went really well with that. Many people and institutions responded well to my questions and gave me opportunities to help. I contacted a lot of different places, from different clothing stores, to ask if I could take their extra inventory that they were going to throw away. And some people said no, some people said yes. some people said like, well, it's not policy to do that. And some people were like, oh yeah, of course. It just depended. Like I found that the smaller, more local businesses and boutiques were more willing to give their extra inventory or the stuff that didn't sell, other than like the big like TJ Maxx or something like that. So that was interesting. And the organizations were so responsive and they were so easy to work with, saying, oh yeah, well, we actually don't need clothes right now, but we need hygiene items, or yeah, we need this, but we only need this, or you know what, let me ask around and I'll get back to you. Like they were so, like the nonprofits and the organizations were so good at getting back to me with what they needed and stuff like that, which was so impressive and so awesome. And I got to know some really cool people all around. I met some really cool people at Tabitha's Way, and I met some really cool people who I donated the clothes to. And so I got to make a lot of friends, and people were just really responsive. I think that was the main thing that went well, is I was astounded by the responsiveness and the support I got with my project, because I didn't think that I was going to get that. So it was kind of refreshing and surprising. And I don't know why I didn't think I was going to get like this major support, because I just was like, oh, it's just like a small clothing drive, but it turned into something that was really, really big and is helping a lot of people, which is so cool. All right, what did not go well? I could have used more help sorting. I feel like I spent so long. I feel like I messed up my apartment at my parents' house, laying all these used clothes everywhere. It took me hours and hours to inspect and sort items into categories, but I felt like that was something I had to do. I couldn't skip that step. So I wish I had more people and I had more help. My friends helped me a little bit, but I felt bad roping them into it when it's my big project, so it just took me a long time. I did not have enough space in my apartment, so I went to my parents' house, and it was just like a lot of traveling back and forth from my apartment to my parents' apartment, sorting it out, and then bringing it back to another location. It was just a lot of back and forth, and I didn't feel like it was super efficient. And I wish I had more time. People are still asking me if I am taking clothes. And I work full-time, and I'm a full-time student, so all of my extra time went into the clothing drive, so it was just really, really consuming for a while to just like come home and it's boom, clothes. Like literally 40 bags of clothes just sitting, and I'm like, okay, I can do this. But I think that's a good problem to have, is like too much support and not enough space to hold all the awesome stuff I'm getting. So no complaints. And here's some photos, because I know everybody likes photos. I blurred out my address and my phone number. Yeah, so it says drop off extra clothes until March 15th at, and then it just blurred out my address, but people would just leave it on my porch, and it was so awesome, because I have a big porch, and I'd come home and it's like, oh, another 5 bags, another 10 bags. It was hilarious and awesome. And then contact me with any questions, and then the flyer is just cute. It says, does it have to be new to be awesome? So I love that. And then here was my first batch of clothes that I donated. As you can see, it's a lot. Here's kind of what it looked like in my apartment and in my parents' house, like just like walls and walls, just like crammed against the wall, and just like, okay, what do I do with all of this? So it was so much. And then here's what the sorting process looked like. So as you can see, you can see my cute mom's hand in the corner helping me out, but this is why I say like, oh yeah, I messed up my apartment. Oh yeah, like it was a big deal. It was kind of hard to do, because oh my gosh, when it looked like that, like yeah, it's getting sorted, but does it really look like it's getting sorted? But it was, and it was awesome. This is what the piles of sorted clothes look like. So as you can see, it's a little bit better, right? We're tidying up, and so yeah, as you can see, this is like women's pants. Awesome. And then here's pictures of me donating. And then here is me at Tabitha's Way. You can see bags and bags of clothes, but that's just me posing. So fun. And then, yeah, I blurred out his face because of privacy to a little smiley. He is smiling in the photo, though. I made some new friends. This is somebody who I gave some clothes directly to based off of the recommendation of a religious leader in the area. And he was seriously so cute. So he had a hard life. He told me his story. He was severely abused as a kid. He just lived with his mom and his mom's friend right now. And they're in the process of actually moving back to where he's from, which is Kentucky, and he is diagnosed with OCD and autism spectrum disorder, and just barely got his first job. And so with his expenses and stuff. He was falling a little bit behind, so I was so happy to give him some clothes. And we chatted for such a long time, and just he was just awesome, and he was just precious, and he's my age, and so it was really cool to talk with somebody my age too, and share perspectives on life, and to see what he needed and see what he liked and what his style was. So it was super fun and it was super awesome. Overall, this was such an awesome experience, and I am so glad I got to do it. Thanks for watching.